Knife dope. More dope. Come and get your fix. What's up, fuckers? Your boy is back with a fresh batch of dope. KnifeDope. That's right, people. The hits don't stop. Do not change the channel, as your eyes are not playing tricks on you. Operation Rosie 2.0 is well underway here at KnifeDope Studios. Now, if you follow the channel, as well as follow my journey, you'll know that I drank the Kool-Aid too. I thought the Rosie was the top of the mountain, felt I had to have it, ended up adding me a Rosie to the collection last year, and ended up selling it in less than a year. For I felt that the juice just wasn't worth the squeeze. Sure, it's a great goddamn knife, USA made, but for the price I paid for my first Rosie, I felt I had many other knives in the collection that was actually giving me the same, if not more. And that stance has been fiercely debated by the Rosie fanboy community. So I started to actually doubt myself and decided to attempt to revisit this knife. Promise you guys a video. And today is not that goddamn video. Today we got nothing but the some of the most budgety to mid-tier Chinese dope I could find. And so without further ado, let's get to the dope. Now we got 5 Chinese OEM knives you'll be taking a look at. 3 of them are in the budget realm, and then we're going to top out at about 200 on the high end. First offering is coming to us from Besttech, and it is the Manaday. $60 essentially, $59.90 to be exact. We got a beautiful hawkbill blade. Going with like a Pikal type of knife here, you know, self-defense, aka a fighting knife. You've got a bulbous set of tits for your deployment. Black G10 scales over full-length stainless steel liners. If black isn't your jam, they've got several other colors to choose from. Wire pocket clip is right-hand tip up. We've got T6 on the body, T8 and the pocket clip, as well as your pivot. D10 is tuned to perfection. You know, Besttech, even when it comes to their budget dope, is pretty goddamn good. We've got 6.9 inches as far as your overall length. Of that, 2.9 inches of 14C 28N two-tone finish on this blade. We've got the stonewash finish on the flat, and then your grind is a nice satin finish. A little bit of branding. There goes your Besttech logo. And then we've got, I believe that's probably the designer name, Lucas there. Ergonomically, feels wonderful in the hand. No issues. Definitely a smaller platform, but I can get 4 fingers on the knife. We do have some nice functional jimping there at the spine of the blade. Now, if you're not familiar with the Pikal, this is more of a reverse grip defense weapon. So primarily they're used to doing the reverse grip. But that being said, liner lock is your locking mechanism. They do give us a nice little chamfer on that lock bar, so it's easily disengageable. Riding on caged ceramic bearings. We've got 118,000 blade stock thickness, 3.3 ounces for your weight. Straight budget dope. Now, this either speaks to you or it doesn't, you know. If I was a purveyor or a consumer of budget affairs, I may have had this one. I really don't, really ain't that bad on it, you know. Quickly, I'll put up a couple of knives just to give you an idea on the size of the Manaday. How about the one that really matters in my life? We're talking about the USA-made Pikal from Spyderco. True fighting knife, people. And then last one you should all be familiar with, is going to be a legend. We're talking about the QSP Penguin. So there you see the Manaday up against those. You know, I gave up budget dope years ago. But if I'm being honest, I am trying to show more of it on the platform, as I do know there are tons of people who still partake in it. especially a lot of you newcomers. So I figured I'd do my best to steer you clear of the bullshit and lead you in the right direction. All right, next up, we've got one which really not high on, but we are going to visit it. This is from Netfoss. This is the Cougar. $59.99 is the price point on this. Now, when I first took this out the box, I really thought this was titanium. I mean, the finish work on it, it feels great in hand, but it's not. It's stainless steel. The weight kind of gave that away, but I thought perhaps maybe it was just that they had liners in there. But no, stainless steel. We do got a plunge lock. We've got two forms of deployment. We'll call it nice bit of fuller as well as a cutout. Snappy goddamn action on this one. Full-size knife, 7.8 inches. 3 inches of 14C 28N. Done in this beautiful clip point apparatus. Machine satin finish on the blade. We do got a nice high flat grind. Also got a two-tone finish on this one. We've got a stonewash there on the flat. And then, like I mentioned, that machine satin on the grind. Ridiculous size of lettering there to let you know that 14C is the steel of choice. Now, as far as your actuation, no issues. A little bit of stick, but not enough to deter me. Now, acoustically, it sounds good, you know. Now, being that it is stainless steel handle, you can see they are pretty thick. You would expect it to be rather heavy, only 4.25 ounces. But the reason for that is the internal milling. They have done a shit ton of it. Milled stainless steel pocket clip. Entirely too much tension on that clip, so that's going to be an issue coming in and out the pocket. Might break in over time, but not really a fan. 130 thousandths blade stock thickness. Now, they do give you a finger choil to choke up on. However, not the most comfortable. You know, that's primarily because of this little finger groove here. I can kind of feel it on my second digit. Not my jam in the least, but hey, I tell you what, as I handle that, I kind of get some QSP OEM vibes, you know. QSP does great quality knives, but they also do some pretty good budget knives. And for one reason or another, I'm kind of leaning towards that. And also that N in the pivot, totally gaudy, makes it feel cheap. Get rid of that. Two quick comparisons. Talking about QSP, how about one of their best, the Penguin Plus? So you kind of see where I get the idea that perhaps it is QSP OEM. Granted, it's just a generic, you know, flat scale stainless steel versus titanium. But for some reason, I just get that feeling. Now, if you got 60 bucks and burning a hole in your pocket, I got a better option for you. You can go with the Vosteed Raccoon top liner lock rendition. Hands down the best budget knife I've handled this year. It's a shame, though, them fucking things are sold out. Good luck on finding that one. So there goes the Netfoss Cougar up against that. Fucking Cougar. Come on, people. That's the best you can come up with? All right. One more budget knife, and then we're going to up the price a little bit. This next one is coming to us from Kuby, and it is the Sito. Now, the name Sito is kind of a hot button topic here in the community behind the scenes. There was one company who went with the name first, Sito, as one of their knife names. And then two companies followed quickly after, I believe one of them being Kuby, and I think the second one was Besttech. Don't quote me on that. But one of the things that ruins this knife for me out the gate is these PP colored Ultim scales. Absolutely despise them. But we do got two forms of deployment, and the good news is if the knife speaks to you, there are several different scale variations to choose from. But the two forms of deployment are done exquisitely well. We've got a bulbous and robust... God damn, boy. A bulbous and robust set of tits. Have some nice stepped milling on those tits. Also got a flipper tab that gives you great leverage. Love the choice of jimping by Kuby on this one. Also noticing the new logo there on the pivot. Now, Kuby just recently went ahead and kind of split the company in two. They're using, I forget what they're called, their more budgety side of the equation. And then I think they got Kuby knives being the more premium side. But there goes the new logo. Let's check it out. Woo! And the detent is dialed the fuck in. Now, Kuby has perfected the detent. Pretty much every knife I've handled of theirs this year has been dialed in. We do got a tactical looking clip point blade here. 8.1 inches overall length. 3.4 inches of 14C 28N for your steel. Beautiful stonewash finish. Great job by Kuby on that finish. Now, ergonomically, it's kind of where this knife takes a shit from me. They do give you a smaller sharpening choil that kind of doubles down as a finger choil. However, once I choke up, you see all this shit we got going on here, all these finger grooves? Mainly for me, what happens when I do choke up is I feel that hump right there in my middle finger, so it is an issue for me. Liner lock, full length stainless steel liners, plenty of room for disengagement. Flipper tab catches you on the way down. Don't dig that. Pocket clip is going to be very functional. It is a folded over stainless steel pocket clip. Not digging the spoon effect there on the end. Clip is recessed, as is the hardware. T8 all the way around. I mean, even when it comes to budget knives, Kuby does well. Now, these are $80. So if you're looking to spend $80 and this speaks to you, go ahead and do your goddamn thing. Now, 2 quick comparisons for this one. First up, we're going to go with the sexiest Wiener Ferris known to man. Now, that's the way you do a goddamn tactical clip point / Persian blade. And then how about a legendary budget knife in its own right? We're talking about the most expensive mini roach known to man, brought from Kaiser. And mine doesn't rattle, goddammit. So there you see the Sito up against those. So far on these budget offerings, I guess I'm going to probably go with that first one, that Manaday. These other ones just are not doing it for me. But hey, like I said before, if it speaks to you, do what you got to do. Now, these last 2 are by far the most impressive. This first one really took me by surprise. This is being brought to us by a member of the community, Mr. Casey of Tempest Knives. He's also the owner of the Fast Knives channel on YouTube. So go ahead and check him out. But this is the Micro Jet. As of the filming of this video, this one is long sold out. I think they've got two variants left to choose from. $140, OEM by Kuby. I guess the my initial, or rather my consensus on this knife, this is a poor man's version of the Vero Synapse. And I say that as a compliment. The Synapse is one of my favorite knives. And this is a more budgety version of that. We've got a couple of forms of deployment. You've got a little bit of fuller access along with a cutout, as well as that Vero-esque disappearing flipper tab. Tuned to perfection. As I told you, Kuby is smashing these detents. We've got a 7-inch overall length, so perfect EDC. Glassy smooth action as it is riding on cage ceramic bearings. 3 inches of 154 cm. Absolutely loving that acid wash finish. I tell you, a good acid wash is hard to beat. We do got some nicely done micro milling on these titanium scales. This is the tiger stripe variation. We've got that Fast Knives logo there, or rather the symbol there on the pivot. That's kind of been his thing on the pivot. Hated it at first, but I don't mind it as much nowadays. Nested liner lock. You've got plenty of room for disengagement, so that's always a plus for me. 120,000 blade stock thickness. We've got T8 hardware, which is titanium all the way around. Milled titanium pocket clip, which is right or left hand tip up. Even give you a filler tab. Backspacer is also titanium. However, they ruined it for me by putting in this goddamn lanyard post for those weirdos. I tell you, the weirdos have taken over this community. 3.6 ounces is the weight. Now, Kuby is running all their steels optimally. You know, their heat treats have been spot on. They have been independently tested. They are alleging that this 154 cm is being ran at 62 HRC. So great to see that. Now, as far as comparisons goes, I told you this was a poor man's version of the Synapse. So let me prove it to you, goddammit. Here goes the Synapse side by side. If you tell me that they're not very similar, you're lying to yourself. There goes that flipper tab. Of course, there's some changes because they are 2 different knives. But I think that if you like the Synapse and it's a little bit too high for you as far as price goes, this Micro Jet would be a fantastic option. And then last up, we got another fantastic Kuby OEM knife. This one is one that has not shown its face in a while. And that is the Bridgeport Knife Company 395, baby. Version 2, don't get it fucked up. So there goes the Micro Jet up against those. You know, I hope you people don't take it wrong when I say poor man's Synapse. That is a compliment. So that one was the Tempest Knives Micro Jet. Best design of his so far, people. All right, last up, we reached the $199 price point, and we got an offering coming to us from Artisan, and this is the Banara. Now, I tell you, when it comes to the $199 price point, I think Artisan is king. Typically, I shouldn't say I love all their knives, but I love a great majority of them. But this one makes me feel different. Not the biggest fan of this. Whether it be that grossly oversized cutout, you also get a flipper tab. Flipper tab location is kind of just slightly beneath the pivot, which really isn't that big of a deal. But the choice of jimping, I'm not a fan of. It's kind of slippery. But even through all that, the knife does deploy rather easily. 8.1 inches is your overall length. We've got 3.5 inches of S90V. Steel of the gods. We've got that Artisan sandblast finish, which actually looks very good outside of its fingerprint, atrocity, because it takes fingerprints very easily. Outside of that, it is a good looking finish. Frame lock is the locking mechanism, titanium scales. We've got some really deep angular milling, so that's going to feel great on the hands. Plenty of room for your disengagement. We've got 130 thousandths for your blade stock thickness. Would have loved a full-length flat grind or even a hollow, but we didn't get that. Now, the milled pocket clip is right-hand tip up. We've got T6 on the body. Oh, no, wait. T8 hardware all the way around outside of your pocket clip screws. Slight contour nature going on there with those scales. 4.5 ounces is the weight. Just not my jam, I mean, well built, great for the price point, what you're getting as far as materials goes. But I'm just not a big fan of these Persian-esque / clip point, whatever the fuck you want to call it. You can see, I'm just not a fan of that. Now, two comparisons for this one. Let's go with one which I feel does not get enough attention. This one's also from Artisan. This is the Whedon. Now, when I talk about their micro milling capabilities, this is a prime example of that. Look at all of that micro milling. $199 was this Whedon. You also get a Mokutai shield there. Absolutely love that knife. S90V also. Not enough people have spoke about that one this year. And then last up for comparison, we're going to go with the cheat code to the knife game. Of course, we're coming with a quiet carry. And that is the newest rendition of the 9. Stay tuned for more quiet carry dope this week, people. As you know, I never shit you. But there goes the Banara up against those. So what have we learned today, people? What have we learned? We've learned that budget dope is here to stay. Whether you see it on my channel or a number of other channels, there is a big market for the budget dope. And I think when it comes to budget knives, now's the time. These companies are giving you the best for your money, really. It's a shame I don't enjoy it more, because there are a plethora of options. Some might even argue oversaturation. But that's a discussion for another day. But more importantly, I want to know what you fuckers think. Are you into budget dope? Which knives of these speak to you the most? Tell me all about it. Love you, mean it. Until the next time. Cut something. Cut someone. Just don't cut yourself. Stay dangerous, fuckers!